Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Mr. Glowbones and Other Halloween Tales by Ronald Kelly from Macabre Inc. A great cover, and let's see, there are illustrations, one illustration in front of each story. This is a short story collection. This is me closing out my October Halloween, or not October because I started in September, my Halloween reading list. Um, I was going to say that I started with Ronald Kelly and ended with Ronald Kelly, but I forgot I read Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge first. Ronald Kelly was my second one, The Halloween Store. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is sort of the official last book of my Halloween read this year, and it's good short stories based around Halloween from Ronald Kelly. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 short stories, 2 essays, I believe. Trying to remember if the one, well, maybe it's 3 essays. Either way. So we start off with Mr. Glowbones, and this is a character that has appeared in at least one other story. He has a He has a Christmas story collection, and I believe Mr. Glowbones is on the cover of that one. I have it here somewhere. I read it last Christmas. And Mr. Glowbones appears in that. He appears in this. And there's a story in here called Mr. Mac and the Monster Mobile. And if I had to give a little advice, I would say read this before you read the Halloween Store, because there's a story in the Halloween Store that is a sequel to Mr. Mac and the Monster Mobile. It doesn't really matter if you read them out of order like I did, but I knew what was going to happen, basically. I knew essentially what was going to happen because I had read the other story. Not a big deal, but if I'd known ahead of time, I would have read them in a different order. But the Halloween Train, I think that's a really short one. It's very sad. The stories range from I don't think light-ish to very, very dark. Mr. Glowbones, a story you think, I mean, look at that. It's going to be a goofy Halloween story. Oh, it's dark. There's some darkness there. There's some crazy stuff. The list of stories here, I might as well just read it. Mr. Glowbones, The Outhouse, Billy's Mask. Oh, yeah, I like that one a lot. Pins and Needles. That's a wild one. Black Harvest. That one's interesting. Pelengrad's Pit is why that's a weird one. I mean, it's good, but it's really weird. Interesting stuff going on in that. Mr. Mac and the Monster Mobile, the Halloween Train, and then you have the Candy and the Ditch Gang, Halloween's Past and Present, and Monsters in a Box, the essays. I think I may have said this about the Halloween Store and about the Christmas one. Ronald Kelly's short stories, at least in these 3 short story collections, very much would work as episodes of Creepshow or maybe Tales from the Dark Side, that sort of horror anthology series. They have that feel. Tales from the Crypt. Creepshow is horror anthology movies, excuse me. Although I guess they made it into a show on Shudder. But anyway, Tales from the Crypt, Creepshow, Tales from the Dark Side, that kind of thing. They have that feel to them. And some of the, just like in those movies slash shows, as I said, there's a range from just really dark to kind of fun, but still spooky with some horrible endings. Um, as always, I think I'm going to say this every time I'm talking about any type of short story collection, whether it's a single author collection or an anthology. Difficult to talk about short stories for me because I don't want to give anything away. Ronald Kelly, great writer. I mean, all the stories are well written, with interesting characters, and they're not super developed. They're short stories, and this is a pretty thin book. It's only, let's find a page count, 107 pages. Quick read, but very, very entertaining. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I definitely recommend it. Of course, you can read it year round, but really a lot of fun to read it in October during the Halloween season. But again, if possible, read this before you read the Halloween store. But read them both. And read the Christmas one that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head. That also has Mr. Glowbones. So there you go. I guess this is kind of a short, slightly rambling review. Mr. Glowbones and Other Halloween Tales by Ronald Kelly. 4 out of 5 stars. Recommended. Okay, I don't really have a question for this video, so it just popped into my head. As I said, this is the last of my official Halloween season reading list. Did you read, this is my question, did you read anything special for the Halloween season? Do you have a book? I may have asked this one before. Do you have a book that you pull out every Halloween season? For that matter, I'll even throw this in. What movies do you watch every year at Halloween? As far as books go, last year or the year before, I read last year I read the second 2 books in the Pine Deep trilogy by Jonathan Mayberry. That's what I did last year. So the year before that, I believe I read a bunch of Paperbacks from Hell type of books. Just old pulpy horror. This year, I specifically curated books that had Halloween or autumn in the title or as close to it. Absolutely Halloween and autumn themed books. With essentially, I threw Sisters of Sorcery in there because I really, really wanted to read it, and I figured I had witches, so it fit. And then the Science of Witchcraft, as soon as I got it, I wanted to read it. I love jumping into. I point like you just watched the last review. The book I read before Mr. Glowbones was this one, The Science of Witchcraft, and that seemed to fit into Halloween as well with the whole witchcraft thing. So yeah, the last few years, I've been sort of choosing specific things for the Halloween season. As far as movies go, I usually watch Chainsaw Sally. I absolutely love that movie. Puppet Monster Massacre, another fantastic independent low-budget film. This year, I watched Halloween Ends. And I've got some. I'm looking over at some of my Blu-rays and DVDs, and I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to watch this year. Although at this point, by the time this video comes out, Halloween will have passed. I think, or maybe. No, you know what? I think this video is going to drop the Friday before Halloween. But I'm going to try to find some maybe classic horror to watch and mix in some newer fun horror and try to get just a few films in. I don't watch as many movies as I used to. But anyway, I guess that's my answer. What's your answer? Let me know in the comments below if you can remember what the question was. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Excuse me. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is at Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I have for you this time. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I've been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.